Radio episode 90. Is building an app worth it?
DigitalMarketingRadio.com.
Logan Merrick's in the house. Logan, welcome to DMR.
Thank you very much.
Well, are you sitting comfortably?
I am. I'm in my office. I've got a very nice chair here. My business partner bought it for me, so I'm comfortable. Happy to sit here.
Well, let's begin.
The big interview with David Bay.
So, Logan is the co-founder and director of Buzinga App Development, an innovative mobile app development company based in Melbourne, Australia, that focuses on building startups that solve real-world problems. So, Logan, how do you build an app that sells for $12 million?
Oh, jeez. I was worried you were going to ask me that. The application, we've got an application, a bit of background story. We've got an application that we built for another guy. So we didn't get to obviously we didn't get any money for it. Just the cost of actually building it. And the guy had purchased an existing company. And are you familiar with Bongo? Ask Bongo.
I don't think I am actually. No. How do you spell that?
Bongo.
Possibly not. So.
It was a service. It was a gimmicky little service. It went completely viral. But basically, what you could do was SMS Bongo and ask, just with your first name and maybe the area you lived in. I can't remember exactly how it used to work, but and then they would send a message back to you, which was personalised. So I would say, my name's Logan Merrick, and I live in Melbourne. And they would find a Logan Merrick on Facebook in Melbourne and send personalised information back to me. And that was cool. It worked really well. You'd pay 59 cents or whatever it was per message, and that's how they made the money. And you got this little personalised message. But the company started going downhill. And this guy came along, Dominic Caruso came along, and he bought the company. He bought all their IP, bought everything, and I think he got it for a fraction of what the original guy actually bought it for. And he mobilized it, turned it into a mobile application, and it just took off. So we're spinning off different versions of the same application. So rather than just the Bongo thing, we've got what would Jesus do, and passion for fashion, and small and medium business advice, and all these different niches where you pay $1 to get, what the thing's $1.29 to get tailored answers to your questions.
Wow.
So that's basically it. And then someone obviously got a bit of interest in it and struck up a deal and bought it.
I should explain the background to the question. Obviously, your main heading on your homepage at the moment is "We developed an app that sold for $12 million." So that's impressive. That's certainly a very enticing headline. Is that something that you split tested with other headlines?
We did actually. We did. We built an app that got acquired for $12 million, and we ran a number of different ones, and the one that stuck, we haven't really tested it since, the one that stuck was we built an app that sold for $12 million. And there used to be different subheadings and all kinds of stuff, and funnily enough, the application that sold for $12 million isn't actually on our website at all, just that one headline.
Okay, well, no, it's a lovely headline, and obviously a great thing to be able to say about your business. So, do you think in general that most businesses should have a mobile app?
I'm in two minds about this. I think that you need to look at your business, because it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Let's say we don't have an app. We cannot fathom we can't think of what we could possibly use an application for. We're going to mobilize our blog, turn it into an application, but for some businesses it's just not worthwhile having an application. So for the businesses that should have an application, you got to look at your processes and define where can we save time, where can we deliver value, what tool can we build for our clients or for our internal processes that would save us money in the long run. and it's got to save you or make you a really significant amount, because building an application can cost anywhere from, it's as low as $5,000, but up to $100, $150, $250,000. So
Right.
you really got to be able to quantify that return on investment.
And of course, it's not necessarily just one-off cost as well, because software evolves. iOS for Apple evolves over time, and you might have to keep on developing your app just to ensure that it stays up to date and just working on a new operating system. So, is there a percentage of your initial budget that you should actually be thinking of keeping to actually continue investing in your app and improving it over time?
Yeah, depending on the size of the project, and it's not normally even related to the size of the project cost. It's more about what technologies they're using. So if they're using iOS and Android, two different operating systems, they have different cycles of updates and stuff like this. So every time something comes out, we've got to just fix it. So normally a client of ours would go on a retainer. So if let's say the average application costs somewhere around 50,000. That's not true, but it's closer to 80,000. But say if it was 50,000, then the ongoing monthly cost of updating it and analyzing what's actually happening and providing optimization advice, somewhere between as low as $200 a month, hosting as well, up to $10,000 a month. Not on a $50,000 application, but up to, let's say, $1,000 a month. So
Right,
it varies. It varies.
That's a nice business model as well, certainly, because it's completely appropriate that a client should be continuing to invest in it, but it's a nice model to be continuing to ensure that the client's app is up to date. So
Yeah.
what about?
It's like a website. If you look at a website, the website is not a set and forget solution. You've got optimize. You've got a new features, you've got new pages, you've got a split test, and all these sort of things. It's the exact same thing. You've got to understand what's happening within your website as well. What are the common pathways? What are the frequently asked questions? Same thing with the mobile app.
And do you find that most clients or prospective clients accept that and understand that that's likely to be the case beforehand, or do you have to tell them or explain why that's got to be the case before they become a client?
Yeah, I think that most of them, once you've gone into to get a mobile app, you're pretty well aware of what needs to be done, what's expected. So most of them are pretty au fait with it. Some of them, and we're relatively selective about who we work with, but the ones who don't see the value in that, we just wouldn't. We wouldn't take one as a client in the first place, because we know that in order to be successful, you're not born successful. You're not born, unless you come from a well-off family or something. But you're not born a complete being. You've got to continuously evolve and develop yourself. And it's the same with the website. It's the same with the business. It's the same with the mobile app.
Okay, and if you've only got a fairly limited budget, is there a certain app store that you should be designing for to begin with? Maybe Apple to begin with, or is that not necessarily the case for all businesses?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. We get asked this a lot, as you can probably imagine. Most people will release on one platform to start with. We typically push them towards iOS, and it's not because we're more comfortable with one or the other. It doesn't really phase us, but the primary reason is because most iOS users, most iPhone users, number one, use more apps than the average Android user, and number two, providing that you have a specific monetization model within your application that costs the users money, iOS users also spend more, significantly more than Android users. Even as a whole, spend more than Android users.
Okay.
Even though Android users, there are more, I think probably about 4 times more Android users than there are iOS users. iOS is normally the better platform to go to, and it's not a set, it's not a one size fits all, but typically that's the case.
Right. Okay. So it's not set in stone, but generally iOS users may be lesser in numbers, but are probably have more of a budget and are more likely to actually end up being stronger customers for yourselves in the future.
Yeah, correct. I mean, if you look at the iOS devices, you can pick up an iPad for $500, $600. An iPhone, one of the newer ones, you can't get them for any less than $1,000. It depends on where you are. Obviously, in Australia, it's probably more than that, because we always get smashed with prices. So you got to assume, that with an Android phone, you can get an Android phone, $150. And it's a very simple device, but that's still counted as an Android user. So you got to assume that 9 times out of 10 the iOS users are going to have more disposable income. They have the ability to spend more money than the Android users. 9 times out of 10.
So where the fact they've got a nice responsive design website, maybe they've got even a mobile site, and they're not entirely sure that having an app could be beneficial for their business. What would you summarize as being the main differences between a decent mobile site and an app in terms of additional functionality that an app could potentially provide?
Yeah, so we do get a lot of people who come to us and they want to build a mobile app, but they don't really understand what a mobile app is. And when I say that, they understand what it is, but they don't really understand. So the difference between a website and a mobile app is that a website is a dynamic brochure and a fact-finding tool about your business that helps people find information, helps you sell them on your service. A mobile app doesn't do that. People don't go to the App Store to find out about the best deals on shoes. They don't go to the App Store. They go to Google to find that stuff out. So you've got to think of the acquisition path in a different way. And because someone who downloads your app has probably already heard about your business, they're going to be looking for different information. So typically it's a tool that you would create. Let's say if you were for example, we built an application for a spa company, the #1 provider of spa units in Australia and Asia Pacific. We built them an application. It wasn't about finding out information about their product. It was about actually using their product. It was about activating their spa unit. It was about controlling their spa unit from anywhere in the world. So if you're driving out to Mount Martha on the weekend, you're on a Friday heading up there, you can turn on the bubbles, you can turn on the heat. So by the time you get there, it's already nice and warm, ready for you to go jump in with the wife.
Okay.
So it's about creating a tool.
And would you say that it's fair that if a customer downloads your app, then in general that customer may actually be more likely to be with you as a business for longer and perhaps a higher value customer because they'll have that app on their phone, whereas if they actually visit a website, they may forget your website address, they may be more likely to go to a competitor.
Yeah, and that actually stems off from what I said before. It's about creating a tool. So when you create a tool for a customer that solves a problem in their life, they're going to want to keep that tool on their phone. They're going to want to keep it there. It's really handy. It's really helpful. It's helped them out in a number of sticky situations. And every time they open it, they're reminded of your business. Every time they open it, it opens up buying opportunities from your business. So absolutely, I mean, you don't have to bookmark a mobile app. You don't have to try to remember a URL for a mobile app. You don't have to even try to remember a company name for a mobile app. It is there on your phone. And on average, the average person has 43 in the States, I think, 43 mobile apps on their mobile phone. So it's not as crowded as people think. You just got to try to get your app on their phone. So, for example, there's a well-known, every single bank, obviously, in Australia, they've got a mobile application. I'm with 2 banks, so I've got 2 mobile apps for each one of them, and I use them a lot. And so every time that I'm considering getting a bank loan out or anything like that, I would go back to, let's say, Commonwealth Bank, who's my primary bank, because they've got just the most beautiful mobile app, and it's just so easy to use, and they're cutting edge, and I really respect that.
It's all about design as well. It's strange because you would think it's about functionality and what that app can do, but I certainly use a lot of apps or even websites simply because they're a lovely experience.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, typically you would have an application on your phone and use it often if it solved your problem. But if there was a competitor, so there's two apps, both of them solved your problem equally as good. One was ugly, one was poor design, and one was really good design. You would choose the good design. So that it is about design, but it is, I would say, still mostly about solving a problem. And you see that actually more and more as when the App Store was first opened up to third-party developers in 2008. There were a lot of apps that were gimmicky, of a gimmicky nature, like fingerprint scanner. Before that technology was even available on the mobile phone, it didn't actually work. It wasn't actually real. But a lot of these sort of applications, and they're not really around anymore. People aren't really building them. We're not getting requests for them anymore because people don't really care about it anymore. They want apps that solve problems.
Okay, and a little bit of a selfish question because I've got an app for digital marketing radio, but I publish it via Newsstand in the Apple App Store. Have you got any thoughts on what's happening with Newsstand and whether or not a publication like I publish is better off actually publishing in Newsstand, or perhaps having your own standalone app rather than actually be hidden perhaps within Newsstand without knowing what the future of that is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I would actually love to turn that question around on you to find out if you know if you know that are you getting you mentioned that you've got a fair bit of downloads on
Yeah,
if
and
you
I've got. I
download.
mean, there's thousands of downloads. There's, it's ranking 1, 2, or 3 for digital marketing, which is excellent. But I've got nothing to split test it against, so I don't know if it's not as good as it could be if it was a standalone application. But of course, it's difficult to know what Apple will do with Newsstand in the future because sometimes they update it, sometimes they don't appear to do too much support on it. So we'll see.
Something.
So
Right.
sorry, I thought I lost you there for a second, but it's it's intriguing. What about generally what's happening in the industry at the moment? Are there any particular industry trends that you're aware of at the moment that has changed the app industry or app development significantly?
Yeah, I mean, one of the key trends, and there isn't really a name for it just yet, and I think everyone's sort of coining their own terms. I've coined it human integration. I'm not certain that if I actually made that up or if that's an existing thing I've stolen off someone else. But I've called it human integration, and basically what that means is you notice more and more and more that technology is becoming part of the human physiology. You look at before I was born, the first ever computers were the size of a room, like a very large room, and then they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller until suddenly you can have one on your desk, and then eventually you can have one on your lap, and you can take it with you places, and it becomes more and more mobile. And now you've got iPads and phones, and you've got Google Glasses. Where's it? Google Glasses 2.0 coming out. It seems to me, and this is the trend that I'm seeing, that technology is becoming more and more integrated into our lives, into our body. We are becoming connected in a way that we've never been connected before, and it's very much becoming mobile. Google will one day probably be a little chip inside of our brain that interfaces straight into whatever we're thinking. Right now, where I believe the money is being spent, or in terms of R&D, is wearable devices. I believe that wearable devices is the future. I don't think that we're going to get rid of the old the actual phones for a while, but I believe that wearable devices are a growing trend. As soon as they can make wearables look cool, doesn't look very hopeful at the moment. But as soon as they can do that, I think that it's gonna really take off.
Yeah, the
I know
first
that.
generation of Google Glass wasn't exactly the coolest.
No. I think that technology has never got so many punches in the face before as it did when Google Glass came out.
I know, yeah, I saw a pair actually in Sydney when I was over there, and it's not the kind of thing you would imagine walking about in. And but it'll be interesting also to see what happens with Microsoft, because I saw an announcement recently for Windows 10. They're bringing in these hologram headsets where you can, integrate things that you do with holograms, and that seems, very futuristic. So sometimes you have to take smaller steps to actually get the general public to embrace the technology. So that'll be intriguing to see whether or not that's a significant success straight away.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's very exciting. I see a lot of emerging technologies that have sort of gone underground for a long time. Let's say the 3D printers. They were relatively underground, and then suddenly, just recently, they've shot up. Like they've been around 38 years now,
Wow.
but it's only been in the last 12 months that they've actually really taken off commercially, and they're going places. So you look at basically these wearable devices, though they're not, and they've been around for a long time as well, but though they're not really taken off right now, it's just they haven't quite nailed it in terms of market fit. They haven't quite nailed what people actually want, and quite frankly, I don't think that technology is available for meeting what people actually want. But once they do, I think that it's just going to absolutely skyrocket. So right now, the movers and the shakers of the market are the people who are investing their time space, or mind space, I should say, into figuring out how best to fit these wearable devices to people, in real situations.
Well, let's segue into the second section of our discussion. So that focuses more on your thoughts on digital marketing in general, where it's been and where it's going. So starting off with
software I couldn't live without.
What software do you currently use in your business that if someone took away from you, it would significantly impact your marketing success?
Oh, I think that if WordPress disappeared, I would probably have to end my life. I think that I would have no reason to live anymore. Blogging for sure. I find not just in my own marketing, but actually when I'm going out and looking for information, people who adopted blogging in the real blogging, doing it properly, very helpful. And from a marketing standpoint, our primary, so as an app development software company, that's our service. Our primary marketing channel is blogging. We blog and we get 10, 20, 30,000 visitors per month. A very small fraction of those people actually contact us, but it's the asset. We can attribute a lot of our success to our blog.
So how often do you blog then, and what kind of post in terms of size and content do you tend to do?
We blog, well, we release one blog every week. It's not always me, so sometimes we'll have one of the staff members that have put their hand up to be on the schedule. Caitlin, Daniel, they'll sometimes want to share some of their expertise. We normally try to do around about 1,500 words per article, and typically centered around how to. So, for example, we launched a very successful blog. When I say successful, it got a lot of views, a lot of traction on social media, which was centered around how to launch your application. It's about the step-by-step methodology for launching a mobile application, a particular method for doing that. And it did really well. So people tend to find, in our sphere anyway, people tend to find the how-to articles to be really helpful, and they really engage with that.
Okay, here's a slightly more challenging question in relation to software. What software?
That was a question.
No. That's. I mean, I took it towards blogging as well. So, regarding software, what piece of software don't you use at the moment, but you've heard good things about, and you've meant to try at some point in the near future?
In regards to digital marketing?
In regards to software that could enhance your business or enhance your marketing activities, yeah.
Okay. Well, good question. We use a lot of softwares, so this is going to be a really tough question to answer. I think that we probably should do more technical SEO analysis of link building type. We don't use any software for that stuff at all. In fact, it's not even a focus for us. We don't even look at links at all. I couldn't tell you how many links we've got going into our website, and it's really just I think neglect, to be honest. And it's really just we don't have the softwares. Not that they're most of them are free anyway, but we just that's probably something that could really help.
Do you look at things like where the traffic is coming from and how much traffic is landing on each page?
Yeah, so we do. We use HubSpot. Are you familiar with HubSpot?
Yeah.
HubSpot's been quite good. It's from a high level. It helps out a lot. But what we find is that we might need to engage another software. We're looking at Kissmetrics, for example, at the moment, which is a bit more detailed analytics software to try to better understand what people are doing within our website and where they're coming from, where our key marketing channels are and what have you. So that's probably one thing. I think there's a big talent gap at the moment in Fortune 500 companies as well as SMEs and anything else in between, where there's a big talent gap where we don't have a lot of analytical marketing people. We don't have many people who will look at the data and actually interpret that, make decisions from that. So from my experience, most marketing people are zany and high level and creative, whereas I think that we definitely as a company and probably as everyone internationally need to invest more into understanding the data.
Yeah, and I think digital marketing is quite unique in that it requires two different mindsets, to be artistic but also scientific at the same time, and that's not two natural personalities that go together.
That's exactly right. I think the CIOs of large organizations are finally realizing that they need to let go of the grasp of the marketing people, but at the same time, the marketing people need to still have some sort of analytical backbone in whatever they're doing to quantify a return on investment.
Okay, well, moving on to...
I wish I would have.
I'd like you to look back on the very first day that you're involved in trying to market a business online. What didn't you do so well? What do you wish that you would have done differently?
When we first started, I'm 100% self-taught, so I don't know marketing degree or anything like that. When we first started, I didn't know the first thing about marketing, so I went with the shotgun method, which basically means do everything and do lots of it, and shoot in every which direction. So it's just spray and pray, just hopefully something works, and that worked quite well. Well enough that we're still here.
So how long ago was that you were talking about?
How long ago?
Yeah, how long ago was that?
Oh, I mean, look, we've only been in business for maybe 2.5, 3 years. So it was in that early piece. Let's say 3 years ago, maybe for a good 12 months, we were spraying and we were praying. And if I could do it again, I would have gone. Would have really focused in on 2 areas back then. Would have been blogging and doing really, really high quality blogs, and then Facebook marketing, because that's when the Facebook marketing goldmine boom happened, and then ever since then they've done some very interesting things with the algorithms. But I think that had we taken that approach, we would have been in a slightly different place now.
Okay,
Not that I'm complaining, but yeah.
so by Facebook advertising or marketing, do you actually mean their paid advertising program and actually defining very close, niche market segments, or perhaps a list of people that have already liked a certain page and advertising towards them, driving people back to your site? Or are you talking about building Facebook pages and likes up on there?
Yeah, so I mean, all the strategies you were just mentioning, the open graph, they didn't have that back then. So more so referring to the just building a following on Facebook. Learning, like really just honing down on learning about how to do that really well. Just the organic stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, and there's so much involved with it now. When I started in digital marketing probably about 10, 11, 12 years ago, it was a case of it's internet marketing and there's only 4 or 5 different things you can do, and there wasn't a great deal of depth either. But there are so many market funnels that you could actually aim for nowadays. It's impossible to know everything or even a little bit about everything, and you have to understand perhaps where your personal strengths are, as well as where your potential customers might be hanging out, and focus majority of your time there now, I guess.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, there are some things that I can say that, yeah, I'm relatively good at that, and one of them is writing. I can write. I can write decently, but for all other things, I'm not very good. So when it comes to Facebook marketing, I'm virtually not allowed to touch our page. It's Caitlin does all of that, and Twitter I'm not allowed to look at. LinkedIn I do a bit of stuff, but yeah, Facebook is I'm not allowed to. I'm not even allowed to have access to it.
But it's also what you like doing as well, because I'm not necessarily the best broadcaster, but I love podcasting and making a show, as it were, and I want to continue to get better at doing that over time, and I enjoy doing that. So I guess if you're passionate about something, then that's just as important as being good at doing it as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it was Steve Jobs and probably every other successful person in the world has always said you should focus on what you like doing, focus on what you're good at, and don't worry about the money. It'll come, and that's definitely I definitely play that card now more than I used to. I don't really do anything I don't enjoy anymore. I don't even pay bills anymore because I don't enjoy it. They get paid.
They do get the money, yeah.
I still pay the taxes and stuff. I don't enjoy it, but you have to accept it.
Okay, well, moving on to
The This or That round.
So this is the quick response round. 10 quick questions. Just 2 rows here. Try not to think about the answer too much, and you're only allowed to say the word both on one occasion. So, ready to go?
Yep.
Email or Twitter?
What? Email or Twitter?
Yeah.
Email.
Audio or video?
Video.
Affiliates or display advertising?
Display.
Facebook or Google Plus?
Facebook.
Online
Wait, Google Plus. Damn it. Keep going.
Online press releases or one-on-one relations?
One-on-one.
Paid search or SEO?
SEO.
Email contact form or telephone number?
Telephone number.
Website or app?
Website. Oh wait, did you say app? Mobile app?
Yeah, website or app.
Okay. Website.
Social subscriber or email subscriber?
Email subscriber.
And local marketing or global marketing?
Local marketing.
Some interesting answers there. No both, so or just about no boths. So which one were you struggling with most? That was interesting about website or app. You weren't sure which way to go there.
Well, I mean, I'm in two thoughts about that now. I use a lot of mobile apps, but I will admit I do a lot of Googling, and I think that's quite a natural thing. I mean, in fact, when I do my Googling, I use my Google app for it, unless I'm in front of my computer. But I don't know. I think I like websites because I read a lot of blogs. I reckon I probably read 4 or 5 blogs per day. So yeah, you don't get that on a mobile phone.
Mm. So do you have any clients that have 100% of their income just coming through an app and they don't have a website at all?
Oh yeah. I think I don't have a single client who has an app but not a website. But their website would be a simple landing page. It wouldn't be like a full-on. That's not the service. The service is the app, and the website is like a marketing tool for the app.
Okay.
The $10,000 question.
So if I was to give you $10,000 and you had to spend it over the next few days on a single thing to grow your business, what would you spend it on, and how would you measure success?
Google AdWords? No. I would spend it on optimizing the website. Hands down, I would optimize the website. I would optimize the crap out of it. And I would measure the success by conversion rate.
So by optimizing the website, do you mean focusing on keywords or conversion rates or just goals and sales at the end of the day?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so what I would do is I would, assuming that my website is already SEO optimized, in terms of backlinks and meta tags and all these sort of things, I would focus on speeding up the website, significantly speed up the website, and split testing. Finding out what people actually want, and really just trying to understand the behavior behind the users. What I'm learning more and more is it's not so much about the links that are coming into your website. It's about the behavior of the users on your website. That's probably more important.
No, definitely, and that's the kind of thing that Google wants to find out more about now as well, and they want to rank websites based upon that as well, because obviously if someone spends 10 or 20 seconds on your site and someone else spends 5 minutes on your site, that kind of person is more relevant, and if they can deliver that type of person to your business, they'll be more likely to want to rank you for that type of visitor.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an intriguing business we're in. So, just leaving us with
my number one takeaway.
So you've offered a lot of great advice in the conversation, but what's the number one takeaway? What's the single most important step that our listeners just need to take away and implement in their own businesses, would you say?
Okay. The number one takeaway, I would say, is look at, if you were to think about building a mobile app, if you've got in your mind that maybe mobile, the world is going mobile, we know that, that's a fact. There's no more questions about it, it is a fact. Okay, so with that knowledge in mind, how do you mobilize your business if you in fact should? So look at how you can create a tool for your customers, whether you're a global business or a local business, that will engage them and keep them working with you. Starbucks, I believe, they have an application that now accounts for 15% of total revenue for the entire company in all US stores. And that's
so that includes, that's total revenue, including offline sales?
Yeah, it's everything.
Wow, that's quite incredible. It's just amazing, considering the fact you mentioned earlier on that apps only started in about 2008 or so, and now we're at a stage where they're bringing in just a significant chunk of revenue for a massive company. So it's just absolutely incredible to think what might happen over the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and it's probably not so much even thinking of the application of what return on investment are we going to get directly from this application, because a lot of the time it's not a direct return of investment, but it can be measured in terms of lifetime value of the customer. It can be measured in terms of customer satisfaction. If you have a mobile application that solves a problem for your current customers, are they more likely to stay with you in the long term? The simple answer to the question is yes. If you solve a problem for your customers and they're happy with your service, then they're likely to stay with you in the long term. And so if you spend 50 grand up front, but you make, let's say, over the next 5-10 years, you know, I don't know what your current, you know, turnover is, but you'd be looking at, you know, certainly for most companies in the tens of millions. So yeah, I think that's probably the key takeaway.
Yeah, no, it's an intriguing thought to leave us on. So, what's the best way for our audience to find out more about you and what you do?
So say again.
What's the best way for our audience to find out more about you and what you do?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I would. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Just send me through an invitation. Alternatively, come and have a look at our website. Come subscribe to our blog. Grab one of the free ebooks. We've got a ton of free learning material. It's all free. We're just giving it away, and it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
And your website, of course, buzinga.com.au.
Yeah, just got to double check the spelling. It's buzinga.com.au. Some people think it's BAZINGA, and yes, I do believe it comes from the Big Bang Theory. I have double checked. There's speculation that it came from the Big Bang Theory.
Well, just to make sure people go to the right place, I'll make sure I link to it from the show notes and the email newsletter and the magazine as well, so people can just follow the link and get to where you are.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Okay, well, thanks for coming on. And thank you, dear listener, for joining us. We'll catch you soon on Digital Marketing Radio.
Digital Marketing Radio. Digital Marketing Radio. Digital Marketing Radio.com.
Bye for now.